Welcome, and I just watched Only Tomorrow today, a Studio Ghibli film. It was written by a different person, not the usual Hayao Miyazaki, but at the time it was very big in Japan, and it is marketed towards a much more older audience, not kids, and it's a very interesting story, and it revolves around this woman, and the story goes back and forth between her adulthood and her childhood. So I guess you could say it's called Only Yesterday because it feels like it was only yesterday she was, in fifth grade, struggling with math and other things. It's also interesting how they transition between timelines. It sort of feels like a really, really early example of what Satoshi Kon would do. For example, there's a scene where the main character is in a house and she hears a sound and she turns around and it quickly transitions to the when she was a little girl, but it's as if the little girl was in the house, so it was kind of surreal in that sense. It reminds me of Satoshi Kon's directorial style. Anyways, so the story revolves around this woman, and it goes back and forth between her childhood and her adulthood. In the present time, obviously her adulthood. And when she was a kid, she grew up with, in a Japanese household, very strict parents, and she was a very poor student. She was getting bad grades because she did not understand math, and she gets this opportunity to become an actor because this man noticed her in a play and wanted her to be in this drama, I guess, that he was doing. And the mom says sure, this could be, and then the sister's like, all right, but then the dad says no, that acting is out, people who are in show business are no good, so she does not allow her to follow a career in acting, which, unbeknownst to the dad, could have been a very, very good chance for the main character to get a career and become famous, but she had to kiss that dream goodbye and they give it to another girl. And so as an adult, she is going on a vacational trip to go farm, and she heads over there and she meets this guy that's a farmer there, and he teaches her about the way of the life of the farmer, and his family's there and they're all having a good time. It's a very wholesome, laid back story. It's not fantasy, it's like, you know like like slice of life, you could say. And these two have like a thing going on later. It's kind of forced, but they agree with it because the mother of the man wants her to marry him, and she wanted to, but she didn't really. I guess she choked up on the chance to respond. And her vacation is basically over at the end of the movie, and she takes a train back home. And then during the credits, the her like her childhood friends kind of start surrounding her, including her younger self. So we're back to this like surreal type thing, and she ends up changing her mind about just leaving and decides to marry this guy. So she takes the train back to the family. She calls them and she meets up with the guy, and the kids from her childhood memories are kind of just following her and congratulating her, and she manages to to get with him, and it's implied, obviously they get married at the end. She does tell this white guy a story about a kid that was rude and he was filthy, had bad posture, walked ugly, spit a lot, and she was telling him how he told her like I ain't shaking your hand, and how everybody in the class shook his hand, but she didn't get to because he told him no. And he was telling her how he probably liked you. She was in denial, and he was like, no, he did not like me. He didn't want to shake my hand, and he was telling him, well, that's how boys are. They bully the girls that they like, the girl that they like. And she doesn't believe him, and she tells him that women don't understand boys' feelings. I mean, it's easily the other way around too. So that was a very interesting story she tells towards the end of the film, and that's pretty much all I really have to say about it. It's a great film. like I said, it's very wholesome, laid back. It has, it's good. It has good music. It has really great animation. I like the animation of the facial expressions, the emotions. I thought that was really well done. I mean, being a Studio Ghibli film, that's what you can expect. Something high quality. I don't really hear much talk about this film, which is a shame because it's good. More people should watch only yesterday. Yeah, I definitely recommend this film. It's definitely a good film. I'd probably watch it again because there's just a lot to really take in, trying to balance focusing in on her life as a child and her life as an adult, and how it just goes back and forth. It was a great film. I really enjoyed it. I'm planning to review Porco Rosso next, but I gotta get to other things I'm watching too off the backlog.